Hi, this is the basic framework for creating a Mancala game using Java. It's just the very basics, and all I'm going to do in this game is to create two players, simple players, just with their names, and creating a board with labels and numbers going across. By default, there are 6 pits on either side. To start with, they each have 4 stones in them, and then 2 what are called Mancalas on either end. And see the description in the web page where I have this located. And for example, you can take an egg carton and cut off the top, take the bottom part with the 6 slots on either side, and then cut the lid, the 2 ends off the lid, and tape each end to the end of the base of the egg container. So you have 6 slots on either side and a Mancala on either end. And then that's what is supposed to be created by this program. So I might as well start showing what it looks like. And we'll go ahead and share the screen. I'm starting off with 2 players. If you notice, on each player, I have a constructor. When nothing is being passed in, I also have a structure with just the name being passed in. And this will be changed as we go along and improve, but this is just to get this basic structure down. Again, in Java, anytime you have a variable, notice the variable is private, but I can do a get name to get the variable. I have no way of setting the name other than the initial creation of the item. Then I also have a board, and in the board I have the initial configuration for the Mancala board. Again, 6 4s, a 0 for the first player's Mancala, and 6 4s with a 0 for the second player's Mancala. I also chose to have letters to label each of the bits, and so therefore I have A through N, which is 14 letters. Then I just have routines here that I start going through. One is to create a integer, and then how many dots you want in a row, which is a print solid line, and whether you want a new line at the end. Likewise, then I have a Boolean, again, is print dotted line. If you notice, the dotted line just has a asterisk and 4 blanks. And then I'll go through and repeat it. And probably if I add something, I can take out a call here. And I'll show you what I mean. If you notice, I can just add on the new line. It will do a print line, which will just put on an asterisk at the end. And so therefore, if I print dotted line and then say true, I don't need this alternate line here. Likewise, on this dotted line, if I just say true here, I can get rid of this second line. And it just makes the code a lot shorter. Likewise, on any print dotted line, And then in this case, then if you notice, then I don't want a new line at the end of these dotted lines because they're at the beginning of the line. And so therefore I won't do that. Then going down, then I can also just on this 8 here, I can say true here, and I'll get rid of the second dot. And so I can get rid of the second line, just make it a lot simpler code. Likewise here, I can say true, get rid of the second line. And here, say true, get rid of the second line. If I left the second line in there, I could. And it simplifies the code. Then if you notice, I'm printing a solid line, then a dotted line, then the top player, which go through in both the labels and the actual stones in the pit. And then let's see. And again, the dotted line, if I say true, I can get rid of this second line. The reason why it has this way is this is the way I showed them beforehand. And then that's the complete board printing. And then if you notice, then I create an array of players with 2, because that's how many players are in there. But one thing about Java is this only creates the pointers to the players. This does not fill in player 0 and player 1, which would be the 2 players. So therefore, when I come down here, if you notice player 0 equals new player, and then I'm inputting the next line. And if I wanted to be really careful, I could put a try around here to make sure that the person does print something expected. But I think right now it'll take anything for a name, and it will just read the entire line. So even if you put in 2, like a first and last names, it would take that. Then it'll go and read the second character or second player information and welcome both players. Then it is now the term, and it'll just assume that the current is set to 0. So it's going to do the current player, which is 0. And then get names. So it'll just say so-and-so, whoever the first player is, then that's whose turn it is. And then since this is part of a do loop, which is what we will use later on, I just automatically break out of it, so it only goes through it once. So we'll go ahead and compile it. Looks like it's taking a while to compile. Okay, completed successfully. So therefore, I'm just going to run it. And notice now how then this looks like a Mancala board. And notice I have the Mancala for the top one on the left, with then the pits going from left to right so that all moves can be moved counterclockwise. And then the pits for the first player going from left to right with the Mancala at the end. Notice it's all letters here. And so this is where the two players are typed in. Now people might recognize where these two names come from. And that's it for this game. So if there's any questions, please leave a comment at the end of the page, and we'll talk to you later.